You're now with me, Muhammad Yusuf, for TVS Nightline 15th October. 58 survived the deadly Turkish mine explosion while 40 others succumbed to their injuries. And do rural voters in Sarawak still vote according to the tradition? And Abang Johari will propose a new bill for Sarawak's much anticipated wealth fund. Let us begin. The Sarawak government will be proposing a new bill to realise the Sarawak Wealth Fund. Premier Sarawak Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said the bill will be presented during the next State Legislative Assembly or DUN sitting.
Dan insya-Allah pada bulan depan dalam persidangan Dewan Undangan Negeri kita akan memperkenalkan satu rang undang-undang baru di mana kita akan menubuhkan Sarawak Wealth Fund, iaitu satu cara untuk kita mendapat dana dan menyimpan wang kita untuk generasi masa depan. That is Sarawak Wealth Fund.
Abang Johari spoke during the 2022 Lan Berambe event on Saturday, October 15th. At the same event, the Premier spoke about establishing another special accommodation for Sarawakian students in Peninsular Malaysia. This is especially to cater for those students who have to bear high living costs, especially in terms of rental.
Saya rasa memang kita mempunyai satu engagement di antara barisan pemimpin pelajar dari semua universiti di sini dengan pihak kita supaya kita dapat sama-sama mencari jalan kalau ada masalah yang dihadapi oleh para pelajar. Saya difahamkan memang masalah pertama ialah accommodation, iaitu tempat tinggal yang mempunyai rent yang munasabah. Saya telah berunding dengan Datuk Seri Fadilah. Mungkin kita akan menambah satu bangunan lagi di Kuala Lumpur ini supaya kita dapat memberikan tempat tinggal kepada anak-anak kita dengan rent yang munasabah lah. Dan kita akan mengenal pasti tempatnya dulu supaya kita dapat membangunkan apa yang telah dicadangkan.
Several ministers in attendance include the Minister in the Prime Minister's Office for Parliament and Law, Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, Senior Minister of Works, Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri, and Sarawak Deputy Premier, Datuk Seri Dr. Sim Kui Hyun. Voters from the rural areas are more inclined to choose their representatives in an election according to tradition. Political analyst Associate Professor Stanley Bai Kadam Kiai said this can be further justified when a representative is voted because he or she is well accepted by many in the area. Popularity, amongst other things, is also a contributing factor in winning the people's votes.
Dan rakyat masih mempunyai anggapan ataupun kepercayaan bahawa jika dia mengundi parti itu mungkin akan dapat mengubah sedikit demi sedikit keadaan di kawasan mereka, terutama di infrastruktur dan infrastruktur persarana dan sebagainya di luar bandar kan. Banyak kajian telah dibuat. Kenapa pasal mengundi? Biasanya kalau kita rasional, kalau tak ada pembangunan, kita akan mengundi yang alternatif. Takkan lagi setia dengan yang sekarang. Tapi kenapa dia masih setia? Ini yang satu unik untuk negara Malaysia lah. Mungkin seperti saya kata tadi, itu identiti politik.
Stanley said this in Malaysia Decides program broadcasted by TVS on Saturday. He also said party leaders should choose quality candidates to be the voices of the people as well as bring further development to rural communities. In addition, Stanley said if a leader is seen as an asset and is influential, there should be no issue for him to gain support among the rural or even urban voters. Out of 110 miners who were involved in the explosion of a Turkish mine in Bartın, 58 have survived the deadly incident. Its Interior Minister Sulaiman Soylu said the death of 40 others have been confirmed. The search and rescue continues, however, for one more missing miner.
40 madencimizi, 40 şehidimizi çıkarıp buradan hastanelere ulaştırdık. 11 yaralımız da hastanelerde. 6'sı yine Sağlık Bakanlığımızın ambulanslarıyla İstanbul'da Çamsakura Şehir Hastanesi'ne. 5'inin 3'ü Bartın Devlet Hastanesi, 2'si ise özel hastanede, birisi taburcu oldu. 110 madencimizden 58 madencimiz de kimisi kendi imkanlarıyla, büyük bir bölümü de arama kurtarma sonucu yine arkadaşlarımızın gayretleriyle kurtarılmış oldu. Bir madencimizle ilgili bir belirsizliğimiz var.
At the same time, Energy Minister Fatih Donmez said fire in the mine was largely contained, but isolation and cooling efforts are currently taking place at about 350 meters below ground level. The mine exploded at about 6:15 p.m. Turkish time. From investigations, the explosion was caused by fire damp, referring to the existence of methane in coal mines. In 2014, 301 miners were killed in the country's worst ever mining disaster, which occurred in the western town of Soma, Istanbul. Back in Sarawak, candidates contesting in the upcoming 15th general election should avoid the temptation of raising racial issues in their campaigning. As Sarawak is known for its unity in diversity, doing so was akin to devaluing a multiracial society, said Deputy Premier Dato' Ahmad Douglas Uga Embas. He said this at a gathering of 58 Kemas teachers from the Betong division earlier today. Uga added, the ploy is the most negative, most unsavory tactic to fish for votes. Commenting further, in the 12th state election, Uga said those from the opposition camp had mainly harped on about the alleged lack of development against the GPS government. Uga, who is also the Vice President of Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB, said Sarawak is still a bastion of racial unity and harmony in the country. PBB is the main party in Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS, alongside Parti Rakyat Sarawak PRS, Sarawak United People's Party SUPP, and Progressive Democratic Party PDP. On October 10th, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob announced the dissolution of Parliament to give way for GE15. The Election Commission, EC, will hold a special meeting to discuss the important dates of the upcoming general election on October 20th. Choose the right candidate who will reflect the voices of the people in Parliament and not merely to have their own agenda. Stakhan Branch Sarawak United People's Party SUPP Chairman Datuk Sim Kiang Chio said voters need to understand that the candidates are crucial to ensure the well-being of the people.
A candidate is somebody who's going to represent your voice. He's going to represent your views, going to take your dreams, your goal, your inspiration for you. So choose a candidate that is willing to help you to bring it up to the top, so that when these policies and new laws are going to be set, it's for us and for our future generation.
He said this when met at the buyback campaign as well as canine vaccination and licensing in Kuching on Saturday. According to him, all parties should accept the dissolution of Parliament by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob to give way for G15, as the dissolution will pave way for the people to decide the ruling government.
The Rumah Spektra Permata or RSP scheme aims to develop almost 4,000 units in Sarawak in a bid to assist the low-income groups. Deputy Minister for Public Health, Housing and Local Government, Michael Tiang Ming Tee, said that the Construction Housing Development Corporation, HDC, had exceeded targets with nearly 3,000 units of houses to date.
The Rumah Spectra Permata, RSP, implemented through HDC is meant for the low-income groups, especially those in rural areas, enabling them to own homes through the Land and Survey Department's resettlement scheme. To date, there are 3,506 units built under 12 Malaysian Plan, exceed just now the target of 2,391 units.
Tiang, who is also Palawan Member of Parliament, said that until September 30th this year, a total number of 566 Housing Deposit Assistance Schemes, HDAS, have been received and 400 have been approved, which includes 68% consisting of B40 groups and 32% of M40 groups.
The deposit given is for the recipient, no repayment required. That means it's for you. It's for young people to buy the first home, to start with this 10,000 ringgit as their first investment. We understand the first and hardest threshold for a youth or young family to purchase their first home is to fork out the down payment, the housing deposit to purchase a house. Therefore, Sarawak government introduced this HDAS, Housing Deposit Assistance Scheme, to enable the youth and the first-time home buyers to actually able to own a home.
He was speaking at the Sarawak Housing and Real Estate Developers Association SHEDA 2022 exhibition in Cebu on Friday. He also hopes that more Sarawakans will benefit from the initiative given by the Sarawak government.
On to more local news. Bako National Park and Buntal will be gazetted as grounds for migrating birds. The plans are in place, according to the Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Urban Planning, Datuk Len Talif Saleh. Gazetting these areas, he said, is critical so that the people understand the importance of nature-preserving efforts to cater for several species of these migrating birds.
Jadi display yang penting ialah kalau kita lihat dari segi penglibatan komuniti di Buntal, Kampung Buntal dan juga Kampung Bako. Ia merupakan tempat di mana mereka mencari rezeki. Jadi bagaimana kita harus mempertahankan mud flat ini, flyway, supaya ia terus akan memberi manfaat kepada komuniti setempat. Jadi oleh sebab itulah kita nak watakkan supaya tidak ada usaha untuk membangunkan mana-mana jalan raya dan sebagainya di tempat ini, insyaAllah.
Len added, the conservation of bird habitats is closely related to climate change. Some bird species have decreased in number due to the absence of migrating grounds that had been replaced by unsustainable development projects across the globe. Smart farming technology has the potential to be utilized fully by Sarawak in 2030. This was lauded by the chairman of the Federation of Malaysia Manufacturers, FMM Sarawak, Datuk Sri Victor He Lu Tian, taking into account the success of the Internet of Things IoT development in smart farming by Toklen Borneo Company.
Smart farming, dan ini smart farming, saya percaya akan future for Sarawak kerana population Sarawak hanya 2.8 million dan kami ada banyak tanah di Sarawak, tanah yang besar, itu ada banyak opportunity untuk smart farming.
He said this in his speech during the Innovation and Productivity Day in conjunction with the Innovation Month for Public Services in Sarawak 2022 in Kuching on Saturday. At the event, 6 individuals received awards in various categories for productivity, including an undergraduate from University Malaysia Sarawak, UNIMAS. Coming up right after the break, Klang incumbents challenges Agong's decision, and climate change activists uses canned soup to stop new oil and gas projects in Britain. right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned.
Kalau nak apa-apa lagi
by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has garnered various reactions from the people and experts. This brings us to Charles Santiago, Klang's incumbent, who proceeded to file a lawsuit against Ismail for making the decision on October 10th. As a response to this, Ismail, during the same event, said Santiago has directly challenged the discretion of Yang di-Pertuan Agong, who has the absolute power over Malaysia.
Ada pihak yang cuba mencabar. Charles Santiago, ahli Parlimen Kelang, kalau tak silap saya, mencabar. Dan kes ini dibawa ke mahkamah. Dia mencabar, dia kata, alasan dia, saya perlu mendapat persetujuan daripada kabinet sebelum diluluskan. Sebelum saya boleh menghadap Yang di-Pertuan Agong untuk mohon perkenan. Dia gunakan perkara 40/1 dan saya gunakan perkara 40/2B, yang mana Perdana Menteri boleh membuat permintaan, bukan menasihati Agong, membuat permintaan kepada Yang di-Pertuan Agong, dan Yang di-Pertuan Agong boleh berkenan atau tidak berkenan. Dan kuasa Yang di-Pertuan Agong adalah kuasa penuh budi bicara dia dan tidak boleh dipersoalkan.
Prior to Ismail's response, the Prime Minister's Office, the Federal Government and the Election Commission have also filed an application to nullify the lawsuit of the High Court on Friday, October 14th. Santiago filed the lawsuit as an attempt to stop the general elections from being held soon.
The creation of the Keluarga Malaysia Science, Technology, Innovation and Economy, or STIE design space, will hopefully create thinkers and innovators who are capable of boosting the country's economy. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the STIE design space will also hopefully spark a creative culture and spur more to be involved in the fields of science, technology and innovation. The said space was developed by the Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry MOSTI under Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, YIM. He added that the government had invited grassroots innovators to assist in elevating the country's innovation field and changing social innovations into an important platform. Ismail Sabri continued by saying that social innovation can solve social issues with its potential of creating job opportunities, as its concept is fast gaining attention and interest. It also could reduce the gap between urban and rural economies and push traditional innovations as a competitive economic source. The Bura STIE design space is the 7th space launched, after 2 in Johor and 1 each in Negeri Sembilan, Terengganu, Kelantan and Kedah, and offers facilities such as design labs, computer labs, innovation corners, digital studios and training areas that can be utilized free of charge. Ismail Sabri said this when officiating the Bera Keluarga Malaysia STIE Design Space in Felda, Bukit Puchong on Friday. A special fund of 200,000 ringgit has been allocated for the Ex-Police Association of Malaysia and another 100,000 ringgit for the Pahang Ex-Police Association in appreciation of the retirees' services, said Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. He said the provision was also to ensure that the welfare of retired police personnel continues to be protected as they had helped to maintain national security while in service.
Yang kita peruntukkan untuk memberikan latihan, kemahiran dan sebagainya, tidak disebutkan secara detail berapa jumlah untuk pesara dan sebagainya. Tetapi pesara tidak pernah dipinggirkan dari segi soal pemberian bantuan dan sokongan oleh pihak kerajaan.
Ismail Sabri also informed that tax exemptions are given to individuals and corporate bodies that contribute funds to non-profit associations or bodies, such as the Malaysian Ex-Police Association. Meanwhile, he hoped that police retirees would continue to defend the government as they did while in service, as long as the ruling government had not deviated in any way. The nation's front line that takes care of security and defends the government is the army and the police, and while on duty, they stay loyal to the oath and faithfully serve the government. The Prime Minister said that if Barisan Nasional is given the opportunity to continue to govern the country, the 2023 budget will be presented again and all aid and initiatives tabled would be implemented for the benefit of the people. Phone Bark.
Kembar
Set a target of 64 gold medals for the upcoming 2022 Sukma Paralympic Games, which will be held at Klang Valley from November 1st to 6th. As appointed as the chef de mission for Sarawak's contingent is Muhammad Razi Sitam. Muhammad Razi Sitam, who is also the Deputy Minister of Women, Children and Community Welfare, said that the target can make Sarawak the overall champion of the Games. The contingent will be comprised of 168 athletes who will participate in the Games, together with 84 sports officers, 35 secretariat staff and 25 medical officers. Razi added that athletes who win medals will be rewarded accordingly by the state government. He said this when met by reporters after attending the International White Cane Day 2022 on Friday. Previously, Deputy Director General of National Sports Council Malaysia, Suhardi Alias, said that the Games will be a platform to search for new talents to be selected for world-class events. Suhardi hoped that the new athletes are able to succeed the existing champions and bring honor to Malaysia in world-class games such as the 2023 ASEAN Para Games in Cambodia. On to some global affairs. In an attempt to address climate change and halting any more new oil and gas projects in Britain, Two women activists have decided that the message can be relayed by throwing canned soup over an oil painting in London's National Gallery. The painting in question is Vincent van Gogh's Sunflower painting, which has an estimated value of $84 million. The two climate change activists then glued themselves on the wall, but has since been arrested by authorities for criminal damage and aggravated trespass.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people? The cost of living crisis is part of the cost of oil crisis. Fuel is unaffordable to millions of cold, hungry families. They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup. Meanwhile, crops are failing. Millions of people are dying in monsoons, wildfires and severe drought. We cannot afford new oil and gas. It is going to take everything we know and love.
According to the gallery, no damage was done in the painting aside from a slight damage to the frame. The painting has been produced often on cards, posters, mugs, and one of Van Gogh's proud work out of the many paintings he had produced, the gallery added. The protest is the latest by Just Stop Oil, days after they blocked roads around Parliament and government departments for the same cause of halting new oil and gas projects.
Following the resignation of Kwasi Kwarteng over the scandalous 45p rate income tax, Jeremy Hunt, the country's foreign minister, was appointed to replace him. Liz Truss, UK's Prime Minister, had asked him to resign on Friday, October 14th, even before she was expected to scrap their economic package to combat inflation.
Today, I have asked Jeremy Hunt to become the new Chancellor. He's one of the most experienced and widely respected government ministers and parliamentarians, and he shares my convictions and ambitions for our country. He will deliver the medium-term fiscal plan at the end of this month. He will see through the support we are providing to help families and businesses, including our energy price guarantee that's protecting people from higher energy bills this winter. And he will drive our mission to go for growth, including taking forward the supply-side reforms that our country needs.
Kwarteng is the country's shortest-serving finance minister since 1970, where the former chancellor had passed away during his service. Due to this political instability, Truss's position as prime minister is also in jeopardy. A quick recovery measure was to stick to the previous government's plan to increase corporation tax, which will raise about £18 billion annually.
Well, I am determined to deliver on what I set out when I campaigned to be party leader. We need to have a high growth economy, but we have to recognise that we are facing very difficult issues as a country. And it was right, in the national interest, that I made the decisions I've made today to restore that economic stability so we can deliver, first of all, helping people through this winter and next winter with their energy bills, but also making sure that our country is on the long-term footing for sustainable economic growth. Thank you very much, everybody.
To date, Truss was entrusted as the country's leader after she won the Conservative Party with promises of tax cuts and deregulation to try and shock the economy out of stagnant growth. After serving only 37 days as the Prime Minister, her plan had backfired, which angered many and prompted the Bank of England to intervene with a bond-buying program, which cost £65 billion.
And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. Once again, I'm Mohammed Yusuf. Good night and take care.